You know who Tony Robbins is? Okay, I don't know who he is. But I took one of his books, like maybe 3-4 years ago, very big, thick book. Some of you have probably read it. He's written many books. And I was flipping through the first couple of pages. And I remember two things from reading Tony Robbins that inspired me. One, that he used to be a janitor in Venice Beach. And one day, as he was sweeping the floors, he decided that he was not going to be a janitor no more. Instantly, like that. So do you know what he did the next day? He made an instantaneous decision to stop sweeping floors and make $5 an hour, and he wanted to become a public speaker. Instantaneously, he said, I want to get before crowds of 1 to tens of thousands and become a public speaker. He had no idea what he was going to talk about. Tony Robbins was not the Tony Robbins you know today. Tony Robbins was a janitor the first day he started talking. So he started talking about sweeping floors and about things that came to his mind and about the fact that he was overweight, because he was very overweight. And obviously the janitorial thing didn't really help him lose the weight. And then he did something else that I remember from that page, first few pages. He said in Latin the word decide or decision means decidere means to cut out or cut off all other options. And now there is a mathematical principle that supports that. And we'll talk about that mathematical principle sometime during the course of the next few hours. And you'll find out there's now mathematical proof that when you make a decision, you change first yourself. Second person you change is the person that is living with you. And that person is going to impart that change to the person next to them. You've heard of multi-level marketing? Far more powerful than multi-level marketing because this thing explodes. And so there's mathematical laws that support you making a decision. What I'd like to do, there are 75 of us here today. I'm sorry, 73. 73 participants today. And that's, by the way, a holy number in the Middle East, which is where I was not 2 weeks ago. 72 of you today will have to make a decision before you leave tonight. How many of you are ready to make a decision or more by the end of today? Are you ready to make a decision? Yes? Hold up your hands, please, because people need to see. If you're not here to make a decision, that's okay too. You don't have to raise your hand. Maybe you'll make a decision tonight, later. But before 6 o'clock, before 6:30, before we leave, you're here to make a decision. Remind yourself of that throughout the day. And I'll refresh your memories throughout. And I will ask you to stand right here and declare that. Okay? Because it's important. If you don't declare it, that mathematical principle cannot run its course. Then you'll do what you've done to all these other seminars you've attended. I believe in warp speed wellness. And it's not just a book we wrote. And I say we because there's a collective we out there. I wrote the book in prison, and Kathy edited it, and then all these wonderful people like you are reading it and manifesting it and duplicating it. So it's very, very critical for you to, as you're thinking all these 55,000 thoughts throughout the day, to think, I am here to transform myself. Hopefully, this doctor and the next speaker and the next speaker and the person next to me can facilitate me to make that decision at warp speed. I'll flash back again to 1989 when I got sick. I came back from Mazatlan, and before I came back from Mazatlan, the remarkable breath of fire experience happened. And this gentleman had promised me that he will change my life if I gave him the audience that I needed to give him, i.e. my full attention for 7 days. For 7 days and 7 nights, I went to his workshop, did an extra 3 hours of work at the beach every morning with him. At the end of the second day, I called my wife and said, you won't believe what happened. She's in Seattle now. And she said, what happened? I said, well, you know, I've been taking this workshop and I just swam in the ocean. Can you imagine a cardiac cripple who's on oxygen, who's walking at this speed, to be able to walk to the ocean, swim the waves, and survive, and then come back and talk about it? I'd never seen it in my practice, ever. I've never seen anyone transform their cardiac symptoms and manifestations in 2 days. So I'm excited. I'm telling her, look, I feel so good. I want you to call the clinic manager tomorrow and say, put me on the schedule in a month. And then she was so sweet. She says, of course, she thought I was hypoxic too, but she said, sweetheart, why don't you just come home and then we'll talk about that too. And she was right, because it took me actually 3 months of prayer, meditation, yoga, fasting, acupuncture, homeopathy, biofeedback. Have I missed anything? Herbs. I did Chinese herbs too. Oils.
Reiki?
No, I didn't do Reiki during that. I did it much, much later. But during that session, during those 3 months, I tried everything. And everything was working in balance.